Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It is November 9th, 2015. The big story in the are racial issues at Missouri University, where much of the football team went on strike over remarks a faculty member made. Let's watch the mainstream coverage, and then I'll show you what I think this story is really all about. Remember, the mainstream media only covers stories when there's an agenda. The mainstream media does not care a lick about racial problems in this nation. Over the years, it has very much helped cause the racial programs that plague us as a nation. So here we go.
Students gathered at the University of Missouri this weekend to highlight complaints of racism on the overwhelmingly white campus. Now, in a tweet posted by Missouri's Legion of Black Collegians, more than 24 football players have joined the calls for the university system's president to resign. The players said they will not be part of any practice or game until he does so. Players met with their coaches on Sunday as the team canceled its scheduled practice. Most of them were tight-lipped about the meeting and about the controversy.
We're not allowed to comment on much, so like I said, we're just going to all stay together as a team, and we all made this decision as a team to, not talk to media, so you're not going to hear much from the players. So
Mizzou coach Gary Pinkel wrote online, "The Mizzou family stands as one," posting this picture of the team. The move comes after graduate student Jonathan Butler started a hunger strike last week. He accuses the university's leadership of not doing enough to address racism on campus and push Mizzou in a positive direction.
So I'm in this because it's that serious. We're dealing with humanity here, and at this point, we can't afford to continue to work with individuals who just don't care for their constituents.
University of Missouri System President Tim Wolf issued a statement saying, in part, that he is dedicated to ongoing dialogue to address these very complex societal issues, giving no sign that he intends to resign. I'm Andrew Spencer, reporting.
All right, so there was part one of the mainstream coverage. Here comes part two right here, Truth Seeker.
At the University of Missouri.
please use this resignation to heal, not to hate.
Tim Wolf is answering the call for change at the University of Missouri. He stepped down from his post as president amid heated racial tensions at Mizzou's main campus. Students insisted racism is real at their school, and their leader wasn't doing enough about it. It's a claim Wolf acknowledges.
I take full responsibility for this frustration, and I take full responsibility for the inaction that has occurred.
News of the resignation was met with celebration by some students, their voices united in an anthem reminiscent of the civil rights struggle of the 1950s and 60s.
Everybody. It's really about just getting fairness. It's not just about Tim Wolf resigning, but it's about just getting equal rights with different things on campus. And I know this is just like the beginning of it.
The push for change meant a personal commitment for Jonathan Butler. The Missouri grad student refused to eat until Wolf stepped down.
After all the letters we've sent, all the in-person interactions, after all the forums we've attended, after all the tweets and DMs that we've sent, telling the administration about our pain, it should not have taken this much, and it is disgusting and vile that we find ourselves in the place that we do.
Nearly half of the Missouri Tigers football team fueled the cause by threatening to stay off the practice field in protest. Their head coach announced his support with a single image of his players locking arms. The team was prepared to boycott its next game, a move which could have cost the school $1 million. This morning, a faculty walkout added even more pressure. Missouri journalism professor Cynthia Frisbee says she's seen the ugly reality of racism firsthand.
I've been here for 18 years, and this is nothing new. So I have been called the N-word too many times to talk about it on camera and to write them all out.
Jonathan Butler has ended his hunger strike. The Mizzou Tigers will be back on the practice field tomorrow, but the students' struggle is far from over.
All right, so there was part two of the story. If you paid attention, you noticed that there wasn't a lot of substance to it. The players said they weren't going to talk about it. The man who was giving the resignation speech didn't even say what he did. From reading the mainstream coverage, there's not a lot of details out there. But at the same time, the media championed the event as some sort of overcoming or progress in terms of race relations. And what I want people to realize is the media does this again and again. It even brought up the Civil Rights Act. Remember, in Gematria, civil rights equals 64. It happened in the year 64. The first black president is Barack Hussein Obama, whose name equals 64. He was elected the 44th president 44 years after the Civil Rights Act, when the face of the Civil Rights Act was Martin Luther King Jr., who was assassinated on 4/4. Anyhow, that's a side discussion. What I'm trying to say is our society is full of empty symbolism. You know, I live in a city, Seattle, that's segregated. And the South End is mostly minorities. It's very impoverished. It's full of crime. I used to teach down there at Van Asselt, which is the oldest elementary school in Seattle. And regularly down there, the schools are broken into, the schools are ripped off overnight. Very problematic area, an area that doesn't really receive any intervention from any outside influences or sources that could influence positively. And South Seattle is just one of many places like that in this nation. My point is, there's all sorts of people out there who need help, who need to see some real progress. And about the best they ever get in this world is a story like this, which I think is contrived just for the false hope it provides. We heard the one girl get on there real quick and say she knows things are just going to get better from here. But I mean, how did anything even really get better? We don't even know what's going on. So check this out. This is how I think the story is contrived, Truth Seeker. The people who control the media, who do this to us by the numbers, they are the Zionists. They are very racist. They seem to hate all people, blacks the most. And something that's not told about the United States history, but needs to be told more often, is that the majority of slaveholders were Zionist Jews. More than 90%. The vast majority. The majority of black people who speak out today about injustice often equate themselves with the Jews in history, which they only do because they've been taught so many lies. Not all Jews are bad, but the Jews have been very oppressive to many in this world. That's why they've been banned from so many countries. Anyhow, this is what they have done. They have coded our language. They have built our nation. They have built so much around us. Think about the racist old saying, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a nigger is how it originally goes. But for children, the word tiger is substituted. The gematria of tiger is 59. Think about Tiger Woods, the first successful black mainstream golfer. The word Negro is 59. The word slave is 59. Motown Records came out in 59. For anyone new here, there's a gematria calculator. This website, Riding the Beast, if you go to English Ordinal, this uses the alphabet Negro, slave, blues. There's more than this, but that's enough right there. Our language is coded, numbers are coded on races. This 59 is not a good number. In Jewish gematria, the word kill equals 59. A lot of black people well know there's an active agenda against them to destroy them as a race. From the continent of Africa to what goes on here in the United States to what goes on in other parts of this world. Black hatred is taught throughout the world to all races by this same Zionist-controlled media. This story came November 7th, 2015. That was a date with 33 numerology, another number connected to race war. Race war itself has a gematria of 33. In Pythagorean gematria, race war equals 33. The Michael Brown story happened in Missouri as well, August 9th, 2014. The whole story was centered around 33. Before they announced the police officer's name, I made a video on YouTube saying, watch, learn this gematria. When they release the police officer's name, it will be 33. That's how I got my first big group of subscribers. That's where I got my first interest, and I've been educating ever since. This is what is really going on in the world. People need to wake up to it. So, it's got this 33 coding. Tigers in Pythagorean gematria equals 33. With the S exception, it equals 42. If you use a website like this, it doesn't do the S exception. Tigers is 33. But for every S, you can add plus 9 more. So tigers also 33 plus 9, 42. This number 42 is a number coded on black Americans in a very hateful way. There's a reason Jackie Robinson wore 42. The word nigger, which the woman brought up in the video, sums to 42. And notice within the word it breaks down to 5959. N's the 14th letter, 1 plus 4 becomes 5, I's the ninth, E's the 5th, R's the 18th, 1 plus 8 becomes 9. What's interesting about 5 and 9 is if you write them out as words and sum them in simple English gematria, they're the only two numbers that sum to 42. Here they are coded in this hateful word that's coded on black Americans throughout history, 42 and 59, and showing up in a big way in this story that's about race and about black people being oppressed. If you're new here, I show this kind of stuff all the time. The headlines are coded gematria. They reveal what's up with the story. Mizzou president resigns has gematria of 311. Check this out, Truth Seeker. November 7th, the day this story broke out, is the 311th day of the year. A very important number to these people. 311, a lot of meaning to this nation. A nation always being divided more and more. Race, religion, sex. Everything they can divide us over, they will. Sports team. Learn this language and you will see much. Show you something interesting, Truth Seeker. My subscribers learn. I just posted this up on my blog because a lot of people follow it. They see things I don't. I post this image. I say, look, people, another 47. You know, the shot of the Packers, 47, the first Super Bowl in the 47th season. Down in my comments in no time, somebody points out that Coach McCarthy had an interesting death earlier this year in January in his family. Then another guy says, oh, look, I just looked it up. He was 47 years old. This is what's going on in the world. First Super Bowl in the 47th season of the NFL, one of the most important numbers to the Zionists, the same people who control our media, sports, and a whole lot more. Coding their numbers left and right. These numbers have meaning. I just bring up this tangent at the end to show you that I am teaching something real. People are learning. They're seeing how it's applied. If you help, if you learn this knowledge, you will spread truth automatically. That's my message. Until next time.